Welcome back to Arise Exchange. Well, it seems that every day now we're hearing about a new data breach of one kind or another, and unfortunately, it seems the hackers are winning, always seeming to be one leg up on the authorities. In the latest hack attack, the popular retailer Bebe confirming that a security breach at its stores over the shopping holiday period in November. Hackers stole customer names, account numbers, expiration dates, and verification codes from cards that were swiped in stores. Cybersecurity expert and Berkeley Varitronics CEO Scott Schober joins us now with more. Scott, once on this show, I think it was you used an analogy. It's like if you have one bungling burglar in your house, that's one thing. But if you have 1,000, they're eventually going to get it. I mean, now it seems like it's tens of thousands. Is it really growing by that kind of a rate?
Oh, yeah, it's exponential. It's scary, actually, when we think about it. And it doesn't stop, right? It seems like week after week after week, these breaches keep happening. So there's certainly some concern there. And it's one retailer after the next.
Moving forward now, what kind of pressure does it put on these companies to shore up their walls?
Yeah, well, the monitoring is just not there, because if you notice in all of these breaches, be it at Target, Home Depot, and we go back and a list of these, it always comes out after the fact. The retailer is not coming forward and saying, hey, we were breached. It's usually weeks or months afterward. In the same case here, it was really reported on by Brian Krebs, another security expert, that found this out because all the banks were complaining of all this fraudulent activity on the credit card. Then the company comes out and admits, yes, we've been breached here.
Add to that the specter of what's being described as state-sponsored hacking from the Chinese and now allegedly the North Koreans?
Yeah, there's talk with North Koreans with regards to the Sony, and it's kind of an interesting twist. I think maybe it's more of a media spin, perhaps, with the movie coming out, the interview, where they're targeting the North Korean leader, and of course they're denying it. There's no real proof yet. I speculate more likely it's probably an insider that divulged the information or compromised it, because when you really dig down deep into it, there was usernames, passwords, but more importantly, the critical infrastructure, the servers inside of Sony, that's what was compromised. So to have that level of access, it's pretty tough to do from North Korea, but possible.
Now, what kind of money are we talking about in terms of what the companies are spending, A, that have been breached, and then B, companies that are trying to prevent it?
Yeah, that's a beautiful point there. If you think about it from the Sony standpoint, we don't know what the damage really is there. Certainly they spend a significant amount of money on security, on monitoring, things of that nature. It's the outcomes after the breach that really has got everybody's antennas up, because what could happen, obviously the lawsuits, discrimination, because there was not just social security numbers released, but confidential information, salaries of even celebrities, Sylvester Stallone and others of the like. You wouldn't want to get him upset, right?
This comes at a time when the consumers are actually stepping up their cyber spending, and so I mean you've come on before, you've told us about tips now, time and time again. I mean, what is the takeaway from this increasing number of breaches?
Yeah, well, spending in the proper area. Really, what they need to do is not post-breach, and that's what most of these are doing, to put out the fires afterward and calm really shareholders down. What they need to do is actively monitoring, do web crawling, see if there's actually breaches that are going to happen, where the cards, the credit card information is in the underground, it's about to be sold. You need to stop it right then. And there's applications and software out there to actively do that and prevent it before it gets out there on the market and sold to the masses. And that's what they're slowly starting to do, spending in the proper areas of software.
In terms of the companies that have already been breached and breached big, you know, give me a number. What's the top dollar that's been spent in order to, you know, make customers whole?
Well, look, probably the biggest case is JP Morgan. They went from saying they're spending about $100 million, now upwards of $250 million just to combat future cybersecurity threats. So that's a tremendous amount of money that they're spending there.
Scott Schober, always a pleasure and always informative exchange.